I'm Kelsey, and I was Douglas's granddaughter. So I'm just going to read a little speech that I wrote about him. So the month of January, when Papa was in the hospital and starting his new treatments, I was in Alabama, and I made sure to call every day, sometimes 2 to 3 times a day, just so I could have the chance to say, "Hi, Papa, I love you and I miss you." I would also ask him what kind of food he ate that day, or if there were any good football games or shows for him on the hospital TV. Spoiler alert, he hated the hospital food, so the answer was always no there. And as for football, he watched all the college football games, and he was still rooting for the Lions, even though we all know how that turned out for us. When January was nearing a close, and Papa's treatments didn't go as planned, I still continued to call each day and make sure I told him how much I love him and how much I missed him. Even when Papa couldn't talk much anymore and his strength was gone, I wanted him to know I loved him. I didn't want to say goodbye to him, so I just kept saying hello. On January 31st at around 4 p.m., I got the call I knew was coming but couldn't ever be ready for. I knew Papa was at peace. But it was hard to comprehend. There would be no more being able to call him and talk to him about football, or just to say hi, or seeing him sit in his chair in the living room, or play his crosswords. I now have to miss Papa for longer than I knew him. But when I finally could come to terms with the loss that I felt, I found a quote that I think perfectly describes the feelings that I feel. It's a short quote from Winnie the Pooh, which says, "How lucky am I to have had something that makes saying goodbye so hard?" And I think that quote perfectly describes how I felt and how I think we all felt the month of January. It is a privilege to love someone and be able to miss them. We were all so lucky to know Papa, and I was so lucky to be Dougie's granddaughter. I'm so thankful to have these beautiful memories of my Papa to share, and I'm so lucky that I had a grandpa so sweet, so kind, and so loving that saying goodbye is so hard. So today, in honor of the amazing man my Papa was, I want to celebrate him by sharing some of my favorite and most cherished memories. To everyone who knew Papa, you knew he was a man of few words but lots of love. And I like to think that my Papa was my first friend. He watched me from the time I was born, and he loved to take me on walks. He frequently told the story of how baby Kelsey would go and run and grab his big shoes and say, "Walkie walk?" And he knew that it was time to go to the store and get me a treat. If you couldn't tell, I had him wrapped around my finger. When I was about 5, Papa taught me how to fish. I had a tiny pink fishing rod, and of course I didn't catch anything, but Papa managed to reel in what I thought was probably the biggest turtle in the lake. And then after a great sleepover at Bobby and Papa's, which had lots of movies, crazy golf cart rides, board games, and probably too much pop, Papa would wake Logan and I up by tickling our feet in the morning, and then would follow up by making us the best French toast in the world. And speaking of pop, Papa learned everyone's favorite kind and brought it to us at every family dinner. Even when my favorite changed from Sprite to Coke to Dr. Pepper to Diet Coke, he always knew exactly what my new favorite was. However, I think my favorite and most recent memory is how often he would wear his crimson University of Alabama hat around, and how he would always tell people that I go there. I take a lot of pride in where I go to school, but I take more pride in how proud I made Papa. Papa recorded every Alabama game and watched them while I was watching them. But he would go back through just to see if I had made it on the Jumbotron. And despite my best efforts, I never did. Shortly before he passed, Papa was given this little crimson bear at the hospital during chemo. And he gifted it to me because it was Alabama red. This bear, his Alabama hat, and these memories may be all we have left now. But Papa, I promise I won't stop trying to make you proud. I won't stop missing you, and I won't let anyone forget how you were the best Papa, father, uncle, brother, and friend any of us could have asked for. I love you, Papa. I'll meet you again in heaven someday, where we can have a Coke and watch Alabama football together.